Hey, listeners, welcome to the Product Hunt Weekly podcast. This is the podcast where we, your Product Hunt content team, break down the week's tech headlines, talk about products making waves on the leaderboard, and discuss the ones we love. I know we've been on break for the past few weeks during the holiday season, so thanks for tuning back in with us. This week, we are going to do things a little bit differently and cover some of the top trending products from 2023. And I'll be doing that alongside my co-host, Aaron.
Hello, I'm Aaron. You probably know me by now, but if you need a refresher, I reside in your inbox if you read the Data Digest. And I've been here with Product Hunt for just about 5 years almost.
And I'm Sarah. I am the content lead at Product Hunt, and I am excited to get into these products today. We're going to be going through the top 10 from 2023, and you'll see a lot of obvious themes. For example, the rise of AI, which has pretty much inserted itself throughout the top 10, and maybe a few surprises as well. I know I was surprised to see that Web3 really still had maybe perhaps a back seat, but a place within the top 10 amongst quite a few of our top upvoted products. So let's get into it. Aaron, do you want to start things off and kick us off with the number 10 most upvoted product of 2023?
Yeah, sure thing. And that number 10 is Typo. And this one's pretty much all about maximizing developer efficiency. It effectively integrates into your stack, so it gives visibility, insights, and tools to maximize your output. So with that, it gives like a bird's eye view of any project that you're working on. And one of the coolest kind of features I saw from testing it out was it identifies these like unhealthy work patterns and gives you suggestions to improve them. So that might be these habits that you've built up over time that what might seem fine are actually eating into your efficiency. And it gives recommendations on how to correct that. I thought it was pretty cool. I'm pro anything that helps developers ship faster.
It definitely seems like it's useful for just helping improve efficiency and just measuring a lot of things that maybe don't otherwise get measured.
Yeah, pretty much. The best way I can describe it in my head was it spots all the things that you wouldn't in your normal day to day. You know, we've seen a lot of co-pilots this year, and it's kind of similar in that, and it just spots all these little discrepancies, whether they're a syntax issue or it could be a habit, like I mentioned, and coaches you along the way to fix that. And pretty much is a real-time efficiency coach for developers.
Right. Productivity tools are super popular on Product Hunt. We see a lot of them, but I don't think we see as many really in the engineering productivity space. So very cool to see. And I will move on to the number 9 top upvoted product of 2023, which is AnyType. And AnyType is a knowledge management tool for people who value their data. So my knowledge management tool, I think of it as something in between Obsidian and Notion. So it uses knowledge graphs similar to Obsidian, but also block-based architecture like Notion. You don't really see this sort of combination as much, and it's also easily customizable. So the team thought a whole lot about how you make these two architectures work together and allow people to create their own UI views and dashboards and everything to pull all of their knowledge together. This product too is all about security and privacy. So data is all synced in a local network. It's local data storage compared to other products that are stored on servers in the cloud. So it's all about privacy, security. It's also an open source product, so they take that very seriously. And I mentioned that Web3 is in quite a few of our products in the top 10, and this is one of them where I feel like it's maybe not a prominent piece of the communication or marketing, but AnyType uses blockchain technology to make sure that your content is highly secure, that transactions are encrypted. But again, the product really leads by its features and usability, and just it's great for anybody who really values things like privacy, right to authorship, autonomy from software providers where they can really just kind of manage everything on their system. And yeah, it's a Berlin-based company. They raised their Series A over $14 million, I believe, this year, 2023. But yeah, really interesting, exciting company to watch. A lot of people in the community were excited about, again, that sort of mix between Obsidian and Notion, as we have big supporters and big community for each of those companies on Product Hunt. So excited to see where that goes.
Nice. Yeah, I love the comparison of like a mix between Notion and Obsidian. I've played around with Anytype before. I really, really enjoyed it. And yeah, like you, a little bit surprised how much like Web3 technology is still making into the top 10. I like Web3. I think the technology is super cool. But like you said, I like using blockchain technology to make it more secure, make it encrypted. That's great because that kind of really goes to the heart of what Web3 is and what blockchain is.
Yeah, exactly. I think you won't really see any big NFT projects. There's maybe
No.
something a little bit adjacent in the top 10, but overall, yeah, I think to your point, I think it's getting back to the core of what blockchain technology, why people are so excited about it when it comes to the security and the proof of authorship. And it's what's under the hood rather than creating products where we don't necessarily have a use for them yet. Not to, if you have your NFTs and you love your art, awesome. I still love myself a Bored Ape. I think that they're very cool art, but yeah.
And then heading into number 8 is Kombi. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's Kombi or Kombi. I think it's Kombi. This one actually excited me when it launched because by this point we had seen like a huge influx of AI products. A lot of them were wrappers and were cool, but Kombi was like one that really kind of stood out to me because it does away with like the traditional text-based prompts on how you normally interact with an AI, and instead it actually lets designers use their existing designs as prompts to basically expand upon them and make them like better or create new designs altogether. So it works directly in Figma and you can prompt directly from your Figma design. So you might have like 10 frames or something. Grab a frame and you can prompt that and it can either expand upon the design or you could do something like using AI to export that design in React, HTML, and CSS. I make my own kind of things every now and again, and I always just want to go from design to exported full project almost. I don't want to deal with the coding side of things. So this seemed like a step in that direction and a really cool usage of AI for me.
It seems like it covers just a big pain point, something that a lot of designers and engineers kind of do a lot, which is just translating their design to front end code, and just makes it a lot easier and faster. So by the way, I looked up Kombi because I love a good startup name that isn't used a million times everywhere. And I didn't know what it was. And I don't know if you did, but it's a dog, a breed of working dog native to southern India. And then their logo is a little dog as well.
Let me Google this dog real quick. Sorry, we're taking a detour here. Oh, he's
He's
cute.
adorable. These dogs are adorable. They have really sweet little faces.
Oh, they are very. Oh my God, they're very cute.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they look both ferocious and by ferocious I mean it says they're a working dog, so but also very sweet. So I'm a fan of this name.
yeah. One little tidbit fact. Bulldogs, the small little bulldogs, the French
Yeah,
bulldogs.
of course.
Yeah, I have one. But it turns out their name is like real. These small little things used to round up bulls, literal bulls. So that's another little piece of dog fact. And I can't stop imagining my little Frenchie rounding
I
up these
was I was going to say, do you think your dog is still capable of that? Because it's hard for me to imagine.
100%. 100%. My guy is a little firework. He would make mincemeat of a bull. No problem.
That's
No
awesome.
pun intended.
Well, I think you just offered some startup a new name for their company here. Good tidbit. All right. Cool. Well, that's come by at number 8. Number 7 is Chat DID from the company DID. So Chat DID is kind of like FaceTime for AI, or another way of saying it is having a face-to-face convo with ChatGPT. So instead of typing on your computer, you are kind of having a conversation with an avatar, just like you would ChatGPT. So you can share your chats with your friends. You can choose your own avatar and customize that, and customize the model to answer as the character that you want. And so yeah, it's a cool product coming out of DID. I did a bit of research on DID, who also had a top product, not quite in the top 10, but another top product in 2023. That was DID Creative Reality Studio, where you can create your own AR avatars for your business. And what I didn't realize is that DID is, well, first of all, they're a YC startup based out of Israel, but they are, I don't know, Aaron, if you remember, I remembered it perfectly, a product called Deep Nostalgia from a couple of years back, where it animates your ancestors' photographs. Um,
Yeah, I do remember. I remember doing the rounds on like TikTok, and people were crying seeing their grandparents basically move again.
yeah, it was such a mix of, like, it was really cool to see, really novel at the time, one of the first companies coming out to do stuff like that. And it was also a little bit creepy in some, depending on the photo or how old it was. But it was just, yeah, it was a really viral moment online. And that was done as a partnership between DID and MyHeritage, which was, one of those ancestry companies. DID has been licensing its API and tools to various companies, anyone from like Warner Bros. To nonprofits. So yeah, cool to see these new products launched this year as they continue to develop on this technology around video avatars and chatting with AI, and excited to see what comes next.
Yeah, kind of almost remind me of the movie Her when I first saw it. As you mentioned, the kind of getting your ancestors to talk in video and stuff. It reminded me of what all this technology used to be called, but like deep faking and stuff. And now it's interesting to see that it's gone from like this deep faking terminology to just like AI, and it's just become like this like accepted part of like daily life now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
yeah,
I think I still see, yeah, I think maybe you kind of choose the word depending on the situation
yeah,
and what you're talking about. If it makes people uncomfortable, it's a deep fake,
yeah.
and if it's something that can be used positively, maybe it's just something like you said, we're becoming more comfortable with the idea that we can kind of bring life to things that maybe we've lost in the past, or have kind of always been digital. Good point.
Yeah. And as well, I kind of like the way that it went against the established route of interacting with AI.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, text prompts are good, they're convenient, but it's cool to be able to FaceTime an AI. That is just an objectively cool thing to be able to do in my books. So
Yeah, that was actually an interesting point that they made on their launch page. It just changes your dynamic of how you engage with like Chat GPT, where you are just sort of treating it as a workhorse. So if you are afraid of AGI and you don't want to have a history of just telling Chat GPT what to do, which which I admit I've gotten a little frustrated and just demanding with it myself. Yeah, this kind of puts you in more of like a personalized interaction, or more natural interaction with AI. Which is cool.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if AI ever rises up and in specifically ChatGPT and gains consciousness, I'm the first to go. Based on what I've said to ChatGPT, I have
Oh,
not been
I remember seeing those conversations.
I have not been nice to that bot. I might apologize in advance.
I
Um,
thought of you the other day because I had a moment myself where I was asking ChatGPT slash Dolly to create me a photo, and I asked it to do something and did virtually the opposite. And I just said that was literally the opposite of what I asked you to do. And it apologized. It apologized, and then it gave me again the exact opposite of what I wanted. So
I mean, that's the frustrating part when it just does it again and insists it's the correct way.
uh,
Uh,
yeah, I got to where I needed eventually, but I definitely thought of you, and I get it. It's like if you were talking to a person and they kept delivering you the exact opposite of the question you were answering, you would get a little frustrated.
Yeah, yeah, have done. You know, at least it makes for good content, I guess. There's a meme, I think about when it's happening, and it was a tweet. It's like, this is terrible for our country, but by God, it's great content. I think of that every time.
Oh, so much of the internet, I think, could fit under that description.
Yeah, right. Oh my God. Okay. I think we should probably get moving on to number six.
Let's do it.
Cool. So number six is actually one that's a little bit near and dear to my heart. Not to be overtly biased or anything, I just love it. So at number six we have bento. And before I get into it, so bento is actually a traditional Japanese way of packing food in containers. It went super viral like over the past 2 years because of how satisfying it is in these like little metal containers, how it looks, but also how convenient it is. So that's where the name comes from first. And it also inspires the design. So bento is a link in bio tool, essentially, if you wanted to boil it down to its most basic. But it's a much more beautiful and neater way of displaying your content rather than just being the traditional one where you see this kind of list of blocks with titles and little descriptions in them. You can drag and drop things like a Twitter timeline. You can embed articles, embed images, blog posts, other products you might have made, music you can even embed and stuff like that. You can put all that into this homepage and this really nicely designed homepage. So it just has your profile picture and your bio on the left and then all your content on the right. And yeah, it's just like a nicer, more engaging way to display your content. It went through Y Combinator in 2020 and it raised 1.6 million, which was backed by Sequoia. Everyone I think knows Sequoia, but if you don't, it's one of the biggest investment funds in the world. But yeah, if you're looking for this kind of crossover between a link in bio and a personal website, Bento might be a good shout. I think it's a fantastic way to show my portfolio of writing, my interest in cooking, some of the products I've made for designers. You know, if you're kind of sick of redesigning that portfolio and never getting it done, this could be an option for you.
I do think it's a beautiful. I see sometimes products describe themselves as beautiful, and I think that can be subjective, obviously. But yeah, it's just a really nice. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's just like a nice place on the internet to
Yeah.
showcase you, if that makes sense. You can toil away on making this incredible portfolio and stuff if you want to. But if you wake up one day and you're like, I don't want to spend all day building something to do that, then it's a really good option. For me, it hits the sweet spot between convenience and like, I want to say beautiful, but yeah, let's just say beautifulness for
Yeah.
now.
Right.
Beauty, yeah, beauty. It hits the sweet spot between there, and it comes packed with a bunch of different functions and features as well. So for me, it's just been super enjoyable, and I'm really happy to see them claim the number six spot.
Yeah, a great tool potentially for creators, anyone who
Mm.
needs a portfolio, just really anyone in the professional space. I'm often overwhelmed by the idea of just creating a whole website for myself for a portfolio. So I will definitely check that out. Going on to our number 5 top upvoted product of 2023 is Cluster. And Cluster is a tool for making your crypto portfolio safer and more diverse. It uses AI to take some of the risk out of crypto investing. And yeah, it really just helps with your Web3 portfolio. One thing that I liked is that the maker says that it helps to analyze your risk involved with investing in Web3 projects. There were so many during the last couple of years that it became really hard to figure out what's maybe particularly risky, what might last longer. We've seen some really big headlining stories obviously last year. So yeah, that definitely stood out to me on helping analyze risk, but also helps you discover new coins, taking the research work out of it a little bit and just build a balanced portfolio. I am meeting more and more people, especially younger Gen Zs and Gen Alphas, who are really making quite like a little bit of a side career out of Web3 investing. And it stands out to me as something I could check out to like learn a little bit or could really use as a management tool in the same way that we have Monarch and other tools for investment.
Someone's at my door. You send me wine.
Wow, that was fast.
That means I have to send you something now.
No, you do not.
Thank you very much. I'll open after
Okay.
the podcast. But yeah,
I mean, it's a belated Christmas gift, so
and he was like, Aaron Larry, and I was like, yeah, and he was like, it's wine. I was like, is it from you? I don't know you. And he's like, no, it's not from me.
it's
I'm just a delivery man.
just strangers coming up to your door to give you one.
Exactly.
I would move to Cork immediately.
I was like, well, I didn't say it to him. I was like, look, if you're like hitting on me, I'm flattered, but I'm married.
uh, oh my gosh. All right. We will cut that part. All right. Let's see.
Yeah. Yeah, clusters seemed cool to me. My one thought is that if this was around before and mainstream enough, it could have saved a lot of heartache, I think, potentially. But yeah, like you, I haven't put a lot of my finances into crypto. I've dabbled a little bit into it, but if I ever do decide to make it a bigger part of my portfolio, cluster will definitely be something I'll be checking out a bit more, just to make sure I don't lose it all, like the person on Twitter that said they lost all their apes when the NFTs got hacked.
To be clear, too, I think there's a lot of people in this space who have done more brilliant investing than me. Bitcoin is on the rise again. I think is it the highest that it's been or just the highest it's been for a while? I don't know
It's
if
the
you
highest it's been for a while. So I think it was March 2022. No, September 2022, I think. So it just went past 45,000
yeah, that's a lot.
for the first time since then.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, the space has always been a little bit of a roller coaster, but I think Web3 crypto is just it's got a longer story than a couple years. So we'll see where things go.
Yeah, yeah. That's kind of what I tell people about Web3 as well. It's much, much bigger than just JPEGs or anything along those lines. It's a whole infrastructure. So
Yeah.
cool. Moving on to number 4. We're really getting into the countdown now. So we have character AI, another AI tool, which is not surprising for 2023. And this one for me kind of goes out to all the Stan accounts. It's an AI for chatting to characters. You can create your own, you can chat with celebrities. I immediately thought it'd be kind of cool to get some feedback from Steve Jobs if you can craft an accurate enough Steve Jobs bot out of it. Although, fair warning to designers, you might not like what it has to say. So it raised a Series A of about 150 million. Like I said, you can chat with some of your favorite characters. It also has its own kind of like bot store or personality store. So you can discover like millions of user created AIs and they all have like their own personality. And then you can also make your own character with just a few words. So again, it takes traditional prompting structure. Using plain English, you can prompt the AI and it will do its level best to create a new character for you. I played around with it a little bit myself. I thought it was pretty fun. One of the things I thought it could definitely be useful for is like gaining other perspectives. You know, you might have a few thoughts, few decisions to make or something. I thought it could be helpful for that. Other kind of implementations I was thinking was user research. I'm not sure if they actually have an API, but if they do have an API and you can integrate it in, and it can make user research without the users, I guess, possible by using personalities. But all in all, pretty cool product. And yeah.
Yeah, I like that you covered implementation because there's just so many potential ways of using this that I think sometimes
Yeah.
when you read you don't even realize. That's why I love to read the launch pages when people talk about some use cases because yeah, to your point, there's marketing, there's supportive bots, there's probably the healthcare industry who you engage with. There's yeah, so many important and cool uses that just make it applicable to so many more companies and people to
Yeah.
use this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, one of the spaces I think AI is going to be really important is like loneliness, especially with like senior citizens and stuff, people in retirement homes. I think it could dramatically give a huge boost to quality of life in that
Yeah.
industry. So that's kind of the way I almost like take a lot of the AI products I've launched this year, especially these kind of personality ones. It's I almost take it like an experiment, like a front-facing experiment. You can do this, but the technology behind it is so much more wider, this is just how we're choosing to present it at the moment to give the world a taste of it. So like character AI is super, super cool and what you can do with it right now. But the potential for the technology that powers it, I think, goes so much further than just that.
Right. Yeah. That's another really sweet use case. That's great. I was just Googling how to pronounce our next product.
Is it Galx?
That's how I was thinking it in my head, Galax. So
Galx? Yeah.
it's Galxe. So if anyone wants to correct us, please follow up and correct us. But that's at least how I read it. It is the third top most upvoted product of 2023. And it's a platform for building Web3 community. So it's a pretty large platform now with over 12 million unique active users. The company says that it has propelled the growth of other big Web3 companies like Optimism, Polygon, Arbitrum. And so it's basically, it allows brands to launch their own communities, self-serve communities, where they can offer loyalty programs, and it uses no code. It lets these companies kind of, again, self-serve to help grow their own communities. So yeah, it's helped those companies grow. It has over 3,700 partners that it's helped grow. Yeah, it's got over $10 million in funding. They raised their Series A. But yeah, if you're not in Web3 and you want to know more about it, check out Galax.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, that's a lot of users. I always, when I'm like comparing users, like how big a platform is, I compare it to like World of Warcraft during the listing era when it was at its peak, which I think was like 15 million or something ridiculous like that. So that's a
Wow.
lot of users. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's huge. And again, another Web3 product, and this time in the top three. So all the people that were saying Web3 is dead, long live AI and stuff. If Product Hunt is anything to go by, which I think it is, you were wrong, at
Yeah,
least for 2023.
absolutely. And I mean, this is a number provided by the company, but it's 12 million unique active users. So
Wow.
yeah, that's significant.
Cool. And in number two, we have Dora AI. I always think of Dora the Explorer.
Me
I
too.
don't know. I don't know if that was intentional or not. Um,
There's one
yeah.
Dora in our hearts. Sorry.
This kind of seems like a tennis match between Web3 and AI at the moment.
Yeah.
It's kind of back and forth. Um, but yeah, we're back to AI. So Dora AI, it lets you generate entire sites with a healthy dose of 3D from a plain English prompt. It has a seed round raised and went through seed funding. It's undisclosed. Also might have just been really bad at finding it, but everywhere I said undisclosed. Uh, and you can generate a site from, like I said, text to website. You can take static design and turn it 3D with AI, and you can add AI animations. It's like an AI suite to build, hopefully, a really beautiful website. And it's actually like I think it was like the first AI product I saw that really kind of embraced 3D. Other platforms for some fairly known website builders kind of stuck with 2D, but Dora just came in swinging and said, no, we're giving you 3D and we're giving you really good looking 3D as well. So yeah, that's Dora AI.
This was a huge space this year, this text to website space. Dora obviously was a front runner in terms of upvotes during its launch, but I was taking a look actually at this for our Golden Kitty Awards coming up soon, which we'll talk about. But yeah, the design space slash no code space slash AI space really like converged into this text to website where it's no code on speed, where you're really just generating entire sites through plain English. So it'll be interesting to see who ends up as the front runner in the long term. And I'm sure that we will then start to see other big, longer term competitors in the no code website space start to create their own tools. But yeah, very honestly, it's just kind of astonishing capability in AI. And we see it in all sorts of things too. It's text to presentation now as well, with like pitch and other presentations. Dectopus, I think, is one of them.
One name.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, so many things that you can just generate with plain English, but I think the website space in general just really solving a big issue.
Yeah, yeah, totally agree. AI catapulted no code into the space I never thought it would get to. It's gone from using multiple different platforms and connecting all these little things to just typing a prompt and kind of seeing what happens.
Yeah, I honestly was thinking, gosh, are we even going to have this separate no code space in the past, in the future? Because again, it's just they all converge into just being able to do things just so effortlessly, which is really cool.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want a drum roll for number one?
Oh, okay. We tried this last time though, or one of the times, and I had to insert a drum roll. So
Oh.
mine won't pick up the drum roll. So
I can do it. I can do it from my side. Maybe it'll work from my side.
uh, go for it.
I'm a drummer anyway, so.
I mean, I can't even hear it right now.
Never mind.
Okay, insert drum roll. And our number one upvoted product of 2023 is Chat by Copy AI. So Copy AI, at least in my eyes, one of the more prominent generative AI products in at least the writing space. They were using ChatGPT-3 early on to produce basically a generative AI writer. So help you write ad copy or blogs. And I think one of the reasons they were just more prominent was because they were building in public. So they would post a lot of their revenue results or just users on Twitter, and they launched their product on Twitter and Product Hunt. So the makers have always been very open about their growth. They raised their Series A. They've got almost nearly $14 million in funding. So Chat by Copy AI was launched in March of 2023, and they call it a smarter chat GPT that helps you get more done. So it scrapes websites for public data, it generates personalized copy, summarizes YouTube videos. And yeah, that's just been incorporated into Copy AI, the product. So really all of the things that you could do before, you just got a little bit smarter in terms of the content that you could create with Copy AI. You can write whatever content you need, summarize websites, repurpose your content, do research. Just a really, really powerful tool. I think it's probably used by a lot of just marketers, founders who maybe don't have marketers and need help creating content, almost productivity tool, useful creation tool for anyone.
Yeah, I remember some of the comments from people in the community, and they were kind of specifically around the level of quality put out by Chat by Copy versus ChatGPT, and to me, it looked like it was just like a lot more refined. It was doing a lot of stuff that ChatGPT couldn't do natively at the time. There's some stuff ChatGPT can do now, others. But yeah, it was really impressive when it launched.
Yeah, I mean, that's the space too. It's moved so fast that
Yeah.
they launch something and then ChatGPT launches something and it's even faster and better than it was, and then Google does. So it's just moving so quickly. But I think if you don't have a product yet that you really use as your go-to for like creating content, then you could check out Copy AI as your like basically right hand in terms of like creating written content.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Just don't take my job.
Yeah, actually, to your point saying that, I remember trying Copy AI out a couple years ago and feeling like the content generation was certainly, it was a boilerplate, but it still needed a lot of editing. And that was using GPT-3 at the time, but we've just come such a long way, where now I use ChatGPT for sure as a little bit of a right hand and support when I'm having like blank page syndrome. So
Same.
yeah, so I mean, who knows again where we'll be in another year, but it's getting better and better. But yeah, these tools just over the last year have just become an actual tool in my toolbox instead of just like a novelty. I haven't given Copy AI another try, but I think it's certainly owed one with all of the updates.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I'm more of a embrace the AI as opposed to fight the AI kind of person. I'm not a AI doomer, as they say. I like to treat it like a tool. If I can't figure out how to structure a sentence maybe a bit better, it's super handy for things like that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think it probably too depends on just like what your personal skills or experience are. Like I get
Yeah,
most excited about like the image generation that I was just able to
yeah.
use Dolly the other day to create something from scratch and just manipulate it to exactly what I wanted in the end. And that's because I'm just so design creatively challenged. I'm sure that's how people feel about the writing aspect of it if they are more design based. They don't know where to start when they're creating a blog or an ad.
Yeah, definitely speaking skills. I actually, quick side note, I did just use ChatGPT to do a logo for the first time ever for a new newsletter I'm launching in the next week or so, all about cooking, and it did such a great job. It did on the first try exactly what I wanted. I had to like fix some little text issue, but that was it.
Wow. First
Yeah,
time
super
success.
happy.
Yeah. It's amazing. So I'll share what I created because hopefully if you are following our AI newsletter, then you will see it soon. But basically, I was creating our mascot kitty as a new mascot for our AI newsletter and learning how to improve the prompt. And it took maybe like 11 tries or something, but I actually got the idea of putting the little brain, which is our logo emoji, on his collar from ChatGPT. So it was like such a creative, cool process that it could just be not only would it give me what I wanted in the end, like it helped me develop the process of like what I wanted the mascot to look like, that I wanted that
Mm.
little collar on it. Um, so yeah, but you get so like nerdily excited at just what the potential is whenever you get like what you want out of these tools.
Yeah, yeah. It definitely excites like the inner nerd in me for sure. Awesome. So that is the top 10. So congrats to like every product and every maker that made it to the top 10. It takes a lot. As you see, the number one was over 5,000 upvotes. Really incredible feat by everyone. It was really fun counting it down. We did a newsletter as well. And super excited to see what happens this year. Not that I'm wishing the year away, I'm not, but I always look forward to the end of the year seeing what came out on top above all else. I'm going to put my bet on that it's going to be another AI product. We're not done in this hype train yet, I don't think. But I'm also going to put a bet on at least one or two Web3 products still making it through as well in it. But I also think that Web3 is on the up again. So yeah,
Yeah,
super.
I agree. Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to see a decline, honestly, in this buzz. I think it's going to be at the core of what we do going forward. But yeah, echo your sentiments on just the congrats. And these are basically just the companies to watch. Like they are doing, the launch was just the start, and they're doing really cool things and building and iterating and fundraising. So hats off to them. And for the last segment of this week's Weekly Digest podcast, we are going to talk about products for your New Year's resolutions. I'm excited to talk about this because all throughout the year I see great products launch and I'm holding on to them and thinking about them for when January comes, of course, because I have to admit I'm one of those people who actually do try resolutions, and I think it's a great time to just I just feel so busy and stressed during the year, honestly, and I just kind of take advantage of that time to really kind of rethink on what I want to accomplish. So Yeah, some of these products we've seen launched throughout the year, and I've been thinking about them for that. Others launched recently and kind of took advantage of the time when everyone's thinking about resolutions. But the first one is Before Sunset AI, and it is an AI powered workspace. It's just this tool for improving your calendar, and even the name of the company, Before Sunset, is about sort of looking at your day and being able to feel like you accomplished the things that you wanted, and then you can sort of like relax and turn off and really have that like separation from your work, and feeling like you accomplished it. So Before Sunset turns your to-dos into a schedule. And that's kind of what's cool about this. It lets you really like move around your to-dos in your calendar. You can plan your entire week, pulling tasks in and out throughout your calendar. You get weekly analytics, so you can get like a bird's eye view of what you accomplished and like celebrate that success. You can sync your Google Calendar, and does all sorts of things like helping you set priorities, create focus mode times, do time tracking. So that's like this great all-in-one tool that leverages AI to help you manage your calendar.
Nice. So next up is Opal, and this is for all the people that look at their screen time report every week and feel a little bit sick, or maybe you just want to reduce it a little bit. For me, I feel a little bit sick. So Opal is like the first app to connect to screen time on iPhone, so it actually directly integrates with the screen time functionality. So that makes it easy for like all the iPhone and iPad users to effectively measure and improve their focus. So it comes with like a bunch of different features. So one of them is sessions. So that's when Opal will basically temporarily remove apps from your phone and desktop while you're focusing. You can always take a break to bring them back again temporarily. So say like a 5 minute break, but for your focus time, then they're pretty inactive. I use sessions to get rid of the likes of Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all those super addictive and endless scrolling apps, basically. And I found that really improves my screen time. Another one is focus report. So you can diagnose your own focus and measure your progress with like pretty clear metrics, important context, and compare them with like other people, say like your co-workers. It's like a more deep dive than what Apple gives you. So rather than just saying, "Hey, you did this much screen time," it shows when you focus the most, where you lost your focus, what apps are causing the issues, and then you got things like milestones, which is just a fun way of gamifying your focus. So you can unlock quote unquote precious gems by building good screen time habits, like blocking apps for 24 hours. And then you can use them to customize your experience. So the design, the logo, stuff like that. Opal launched originally, I think it was 2020. Yeah, 2020. And they released a huge update in 2022 titled the new Opal. So if screen time is your Achilles heel, it could be a good option for you.
That's great. So the next one I wanted to share for your New Year's resolutions is Heptabase. And Heptabase is good for anyone who wants to work on learning new topics, maybe even complex topics this year. So learning new and complex topics is, can be difficult. Basically, you just don't know, where to start. There's so much information. And Heptabase is a cool tool that launched earlier last year. It's a visual note-taking tool, and it had a great launch and debut on Product Hunt. Interesting tidbit. It was hunted by an individual, kind of similar to how Notion was hunted back in its early days, hunted a little bit earlier than they had planned their launch, but it was getting such good pickup that the makers decided to leave it. If you get hunted early, you can always reach out to our team if you're working on your own launch. These makers, however, decided to just continue with the buzz that they were getting, and let that be their launch. And it was a great launch. They ended up being a product of the day that day, and have made it into a lot of our top products for the year. Yeah, the company, went through YC's winter 2022 batch, and it is, like I said, it's a visual note-taking tool. So a little bit kind of like, again, Obsidian, the likes of that. but it's really based on helping you create mind maps and learn things. So it's focused on visualization. It uses whiteboards, mind maps, and combines sections. It supports organization of the content that you're trying to learn with tags and properties and Kanbans. There's even a Readwise integration, which I think is really cool. So basically, if you have things that you're planning to read later and that you're trying to dig into, you can use that integration to come in and save your content on. So basically, like the makers have thought about all the ways to support how you might connect content together so that you can think about the ways that you want to read. So if you want to start with a high level topic, what are the different sort of subtopics that you want to learn about after that, being able to let you tag that stuff so you can connect it all together, because a lot of times you might be reading about one topic or two separate topics, but they're actually really related. So you want to be able to read those together or know that they're related later. And yeah, it's just a lot of detail that's gone into this tool, create a hierarchy of notes that a lot of apps don't let you do. Again, while there are knowledge-based apps for project management, this one's really focused on that hierarchy for helping you learn new things.
Nice. Is there any complex topic you want to learn this year?
Oh, it sounds silly, but AI, I'm constantly like wanting to get deeper into learning about the technology behind it. As I continue to come across new ideas, like in my workspace, that I realize like this would actually be possible with AI. If I knew how to
Mm.
just train an AI to do X for me, think of what I could help it do to just kind of improve my workflow or improve something we can do at Product Hunt. So yeah, I'm definitely interested in learning more about the space. I mean, I love like the knowledge aspect of it. So I'm interested in everything from like computer vision to LLMs.
Nice, nice, yeah. Learning something is one of the funnest things I think you can do. For me this year, I know a lot about wine, but I want to learn a lot more about wine. I'm doing a new wine tasting course and stuff. And that's with food. Naturally, that's one of my big interests. I always thought learning was one of the more funner activities someone can do, and anything that kind of helps speed that up or um make it more efficient, I guess, or easier, get is a win in my book.
Yeah, wine is a hard thing to learn, but I started to take a wine class years ago, and I thought it would just be fun, honestly. And I'm on like I'm almost embarrassed to say that because I'm just like, oh yeah, we'll drink wine and I'll learn a little bit of something. But the depths of like every region and just patch of
Yeah.
dirt that can be so different in creating like the different tastes and all the different like science and aspects to the wine, there's a lot to it. So it is a good complex topic to learn with something like heptabase.
Yeah, it was like the most complex subject in culinary school for sure. Yeah, it's understated how complex wine is, but excited to continue my learning. I've been putting it off for a long time, and I really love drinking wine, which leads me into the next one. So you've probably heard of Dry January all around the world, from what I know, where people give up alcohol for January. This launched in November, so it was Drylender, and that's the name of the product. And that's the name of the product. Drylender is a calendar app where you can fill your calendar with how many drinks you have each day or week. So it could be 0 drinks, 1 to 2 drinks, 3+ drinks. And the goal is to help you reach your goal, whatever that goal might be when it comes to alcohol. And you can earn medals by being sober. You can add friends to share your calendars and motivations, and they can do it right back. They can do it right back with you. And it aims to be like a warm and supportive app to help everyone cutting back alcohol. There's no judgment. There's no sense of failure. It's just positive affirmations, and you can even earn the Sober Kitty medal, which was a nice little nod to their Product Hunt launch, which was awesome. Some of the features, like I mentioned, was cutting back alcohol with your friends. The point being, thriving relationships. They want to establish a relationship based outside of alcohol, help you do that, which I think is really cool. helps you stick to your goals, so you can quit drinking, scale back on drinking, make some streaks, and it wants to help you avoid dependence, which of course I think everyone wants to would like to avoid that. So you can fill the calendar every day to control your consumption. You get this bird's eye view of how much did I drink this week? Maybe I shouldn't do it this much. Let's cut it back by half this week and then half the next week. So yeah, I love products like this. I know a few people that have been impacted by alcoholism. So any social good apps like this I really like, and it's something I'm participating in myself anyway. So I'm using it myself too.
Awesome. Yeah, I agree. I love apps like this. You just have to respect so much anyone who's going to make this a goal of theirs and who created the product to help more people do it. So very cool and good luck with that. There's some very conflicting goals you have here in your New Year's
I know
resolution.
I want to explore more wine, but also I want to not drink in January. Um, I'll start off with non-alcoholic wine in January. I'll explore that little niche.
Nice. Well, I sent you the wrong thing then for January. I'm not helping your cause.
Hey, the longer it's in the bottle, the better it is. So
True, true. I was just thinking too of that the conversation more about like drinking has I know shifted a lot to just like reducing intake. Like it doesn't have to be there are so many things in the past that have just been like going fully dry
mm,
and more generations just want to be responsible with it, be healthy as well. I love the like refocus.
yeah,
It
that's
helps more people because there are very few people that really just, need complete cut out. A lot of people just basically need help just cutting back.
yeah, exactly. It's the sweet spot as well for me because I'm conscious of how much I drink, especially living in Ireland. But at the same time, like not to mince words, in a way, like I love alcohol. I love the history of it. You know
Yeah.
how far back it goes to the traditions of it, the good parts of the culture around it. Yeah, the only thing I don't like about alcohol is just if I drink too much of it. So being able to kind of cut back and still enjoy it in my life, that's a really nice sweet spot for me.
Yeah. Cool.
Next up is an app called Avrocore. I picked this one because I really liked how it got to the root of a reason why some of your resolutions might fail year on year, and that's your mindset. Mental health is a complex topic. It's hard to navigate, but I appreciate anyone that gives it their best shot. And Avrocore is basically a simple affirmation app. It's designed to enhance your well-being and embrace like a more positive mindset. So you personalize your affirmations and you receive them directly to your phone. So it's you telling yourself you are good, you're smart, you're intelligent, you can do the thing that you're doing, and you then set a time of when you might want to get them. And the goal is to transform your daily life with these positive affirmations. So, like I said, you can create affirmation reminders. So you can receive your own custom affirmations directly to your phone at a certain time that you might want to get them or a certain day. You can organize them into collections. So you can sort your personal goals and aspirations into collections like 2024 resolution, healing era, productivity in work, finding love is another great one. Where I think it actually gets really cool is discovering kind of inspiration. So you can dive into pre-made collections and affirmations and add them to your library. So every week you might not want to sit down and just write all your affirmations. You might not be in the right mindset, but Avrocore kind of holds your hand there and lets you deep dive into ones they have pre-made for you. And going further than that as well, there's a whole community where you can discover diverse wellness communities and categories as well, and other affirmations created by the community that again you can schedule for yourself. And I really like this because I think people need to tell themselves that they love themselves a lot more in day-to-day life. Like this is just one of those products that's like all about positivity. It was solely crafted to make someone's life better, which I really love.
Awesome. I like that the app, it sounds like it helps you work through the periods where like you're having a harder time. It sounds like they've thought about ways to help you, like you said, with pre-made affirmations and stuff like that, where even if you had a hard week or whatever, you can just get back on the horse.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's not a replacement for a therapist or anything like that, but it helps in its own way
Yeah.
to kind of keep you on track. I think, getting those little, it's a good notification to get on your phone. It's not distracting. It's just,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just telling you good things.
Well, the last one on our recommendations list to check out for New Year's resolutions is Literal. Literal. So this is not a brand new product or launch from 2023. They're actually a Golden Kitty Award nominee for 2022. And yeah, Literal is a place to help you keep track of what you've read and discover your next favorite book. It's an alternative to Goodreads. But we've seen quite a few people say that they are not a fan of Goodreads and that it feels complex and a lot to figure out and get into. The bakers at Literal have done a lot of work at just making reading and book finding just interesting and fun and relevant to you. The makers talk about how they are not just about average reviews, but really about helping people find the niches that they're interested in and can really nerd out over. So it's all about
Mm.
personalized book recommendations, book clubs, connecting you with people who have like recommendations. There's all sorts of things you can do with the app. Barcode scanner for when you're actually looking at books in the bookstore or library. It's got reading goals and measures your reading progress. They've got apps and it's got dark mode as well. So all of that kind of like little like joyful stuff when you really want to think of like creating your awesome book list for 2024 and starting to work your way through it.
Nice. There was another one that I actually wrote about today as well called readingbay.ai, which I thought was pretty
Yeah.
cool. Every year I try to read like 52 books at a minimum, so like one book a week. Some years I do it, other years I don't. But I'm gonna give that a try, I think.
Yeah, it's you're not alone in having the problem of, I think, saving a bunch of stuff with good intentions to read. And we just get
Yeah.
busy and it gets lost and we forget that we ever saved it. I don't think anyone's alone in that. And yeah, there's some great tools out there for helping you follow up. I think it kind of depends to me on what kind of a reader you are. Like my husband is not a book reader, so Literal is a great tool for me, but he's more of like an article reader, reads a ton on his
Mm.
phone. So I think today's product, what was that called again? Today's product highlight?
Readingbay.ai.
Yeah, Reading Bay. I think that that could be like a great tool to help him resurface and remind him of the stuff that he's saved. Well, on that note, that is a lot of products and a lot of links, and we will put them all in the podcast notes on wherever you listen to podcasts. Aaron, 1 year I'll set my timer for. We'll be checking in on your progress against your wine learning.
Yes.
I have a friend that's still following up with me because 2 years ago, I made a resolution to learn all of the words to 1 week by Bare Naked Ladies. And it's a resolution that I am sad to say I didn't keep. I'm actually really good at keeping resolutions. I went vegetarian. I didn't buy anything once, like clothing for a year. And this resolution has gotten the better of me. So if somebody out there wants to create a tool that'll help me learn all of the words to 1 week by Bare Naked Ladies, I would be eternally grateful.
Okay, again, I'm going to set a timer for just that.
I think I'm going to need to call in some help to do this.
Brilliant.
Thank you for counting down with us. As Aaron said, we have a lot more exciting recap to do of the best products of the year. Golden Kitty Awards 2023 are coming up. They're the tech awards of the year where you get to vote on what you think are the top products around categories, from multiple categories in AI this year to developer tools, design, marketing, open source tools. So tune in and celebrate with us.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing what makes the list, and even more so looking forward to a great 2024. Can't wait to see what everyone launches.